Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Bowen, aka Pseudosoap, if you know me through Discord. I made this channel because I wanted to begin to make Project O or Origins content now that the game is coming out. So I just want to make a little trailer for my channel and then also do an overview of Origins if you're not familiar with it. So for my channel, I was hoping to do mostly like guide stuff, like deck guides and maybe even like card guides. And then I would also like to do stuff just like that's fun for me. So gameplay, since I'm playing it anyway, maybe do some videos around that with different decks, and then like card openings since I've got some of their alpha packs on the way. So that's kind of what I've been thinking for the channel. And then if you're not familiar with who I am, which most of you probably aren't, but I've been in the Origins Discord for coming up on 2 years now. And so I've played the game pretty extensively whenever I've been able to, whenever they opened up for play testing. So I've got some hours in the game. I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable, so I wanted to kind of share the things that I know with people who haven't had the chance to play it, and so that way they can, be ready to kind of have or at least have an understanding of the game before it actually releases. So if you don't know what Origins is, it's a new card game that's coming out made by Coin Games, and they're wanting to make a card game that is more entertaining, more fast-paced, more competitive, and more collectible than any other card game on the market. From what I've seen so far, I think they do a good job of hitting all those marks. Um, but we can take a look at Origins, their website right now, and kind of go over it. So if you look at here, this is kind of the vibe they're going with. It's kind of fantasy and the IP, or I guess it's not IP, but they're using characters who are no longer under copyright laws since they're in public domain. So they're recognizable characters with a little bit of a twist. But as we scroll through here, you'll recognize some of them. So this is kind of what the game looks like. This is the board here. This is what happens after it looks like Winnie won. He does a little animation, which is cool. But the board has those 3 locations there, and each location has 3 lanes, I guess. And so, the card will just attack whatever card's across from it, and if there's no card across from it, it'll hit the generator. So that's how you win, is with these generators here. You have to destroy 2 of the opponent's generators, or you can destroy the same one twice. So as you can see here, most of them have like 20 health, that's capped. But then when this one has 40, it's because it's already died, so it respawns with even more health. So yeah, like I said, they're trying to make the games more fast-paced. So they say 7-minute matches. I'm not sure if that's a average or if that's kind of the max, but the games are quick for sure. And in my opinion, like no part of the game is like boring. I think in other games, sometimes not card games, I don't play any other card games, but in other games you have moments that, you're building towards something or whatever, and it can be kind of boring and tedious just to kind of get through it. But that's not the case with Origins. Like when you're playing the initial cards, it's exciting trying to figure out where your opponent's going to go, and maybe you can guess it, or if you are trying to play a later game or a later like deck that kind of powers up over time, you want to try to avoid playing where he's going to play, the opponent, whatever. So depending on how you play it, there's a lot to think about, even in the early game, in the mid game, at all stages of the game. It's fun trying to kind of figure out how to play it best. And then this is kind of their collectible side of things. So we got their packs there. They want to rip open. They have like a little grading system there that not too much has been teased about, but this is all their different pack levels. If I move myself here, bunch of different rarities, and like I don't think it says it on here, but there's there's like the sketch version. There's like 1 in 1,000 packs or something crazy. So definitely highly coveted, and they're kind of going after a CS:GO vibe. That's kind of their goal, is to reach that level of like collectibleness where people, if you aren't familiar with CS:GO, they obviously have the guns and knives that everyone kind of, certain ones are obviously more special, and so they pay quite a bit of money, and this is all done through the Steam marketplace. So you can buy and sell these cards, and hopefully make some money off of them, or just, if you're more of a collector, you buy the ones that you're not able to pull. So that's like one a little more rare Snow White. So like I said, this is semi-familiar characters with a different look. So like I said, Snow White there, and then the little pack opening animation is really cool. And then strategy that ever feels the same. I mentioned they have those locations. Each game, there's 3 different locations, and they'll have some sort of effect that affects the cards being played on it, or just affects the game in general. So like that one, for example, just gave both people an extra like mana, I think, in that turn, or 2 mana. So they can be kind of game changing, and they also just give each game a unique feel. So it really helps like replayability to, not know exactly what's gonna happen going into the game, and they just change your entire play style. Like some of them you have to play around. If you don't, you'll just lose really quick. So, which in some ways can be, unfortunate if they're too overpowered and you're stuck playing cards there over and over again. The other ones are just blank. Maybe not great, but it's interesting regardless, and I haven't had too many issues with that. But it is something to think about for the future. But yeah, they have like 100 rotating locations, 3 different spots. So I don't know the math, but that's a crazy amount of possibilities. We got some recognizable characters like Winnie the Pooh, Red Riding Hood, Robin Hood, Puss in Boots, and the Queen of Hearts. So characters you recognize just with their own twist, like I've mentioned, kind of to make them fit more of a fighting style game. And then another thing that isn't really on here, it's probably not too unique, this is maybe just like my personal input, but having not played many other card games personally, I found the deck building in this game to be really interesting, because I didn't mention it, but the deck you have is 13 total cards, one of which is a legendary, so you get 1 copy of that one and then 2 copies of all the other ones. So 25 cards total, but like I said, you only get to pick 13. And they plan on having like 200 cards, but even when they had 100 cards in some of the playtests, it's still really hard or fun, I guess, to figure out which cards work better together, and which cards are viable in which decks, because sometimes you'll have a card you really want to fit in, but it's kind of niche, and so it doesn't really work all the time. So maybe it's better to have one that's more consistent. So that was really fun to play with in the play testing and everything. So far I've had a ton of fun with this game. I'm excited. The demos should come out here on Steam in a few days, hopefully. They've been teasing them for a while and kind of pushing it back, but I think they're pretty close to being ready for those. So excited for that, and then the game itself should release before the end of the year. Hopefully that doesn't get pushed back as much as the demos, but we'll see. So yeah, if you don't already follow, make sure to follow any of their accounts here on Twitter, or X, TikTok, whatever, and definitely wishlist on Steam if you haven't already, and that way you'll be notified when the demo comes out. And then as for me, if you're interested in this sort of content, give me a follow or subscription, whatever, and then leave some comments if you have any ideas on types of videos I can make that I haven't already mentioned, or if you have a specific style of deck you'd like to see a sort of guide on, let me know. Make sure to join the Discord if you want to chat with us and learn some more. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around. Thanks. Bye.